was like redoing the ores, there was a lot of discussion around like colors and designs, and if you're colorblind, like can you distinguish the ores? And so that there's lots of thought that goes into it. I enjoy watching.
Yeah, that actually brings to mind a question that I had read, but unfortunately didn't copy down here about the suspicious sand in relation to folks who are colorblind. So when it does come to the accessibility features like color blindness and things like that, just is there kind of a process behind that? Does anybody here kind of really work with people on that to make sure that we're able to let as many people as possible enjoy the game?
I can speak to that some. We do accessibility testing very regularly on our entire product, so new features and old features, to make sure that we are allowing as many people as possible to play. So that we're always trying to keep that in mind, but sometimes we have to change things to try to make sure that we are meeting those standards, so that everybody can enjoy the game.
Yeah, I think especially with the suspicious sand and suspicious gravel, it's definitely finding that like fine line between like making it challenging for players, but not making it inaccessible for players at the same time.
Yeah, no, I know that's something a lot of people keep in the foreground of their mind with this stuff because we want as many people to play as possible.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of work that goes into it. It can be a fun challenge to put yourself in different types of players' shoes, but we have to do work around like you should be able to use any type of input. If you're visually impaired, you should still be able to navigate and figure out what's going on. And like colors, some people see colors differently. There's different tools you can use to see your application as different people would see it, which is really, it can be really enlightening. And then there's globalization. Different colors mean different things in different parts of the world. And Minecraft is a global game everyone plays, so you have to broaden your perspective sometimes.
Hmm.
And me working with Java triage and basically triaging bugs, we also put a lot of effort into making sure that bugs that affect accessibility are basically triaged very high and are very important. And always like basically we cannot find all the like different player types and like different player restrictions that they need to face. So going through bugs actually often enlightens us and like, oh, what if like we use a brush and left-handed and stuff like that. So yeah, on the bug triage, I know that when looking through bugs, accessibility issues are extremely important, and we always put them on the top of the list.
Hmm. Yeah, so I know that like we're talking about player experience right now, and we have one person on Instagram who asked a question. They said, "Hey Mojang or Mojang." I know there's a debate about which one do you say depending on where you live and things like that. Uh, 7 years ago was 1.10, and 7 years ahead might be 1.30. What aspects of the player experience are you focusing on improving? Now, that's a broad question, but I know a lot of you here really think about that a lot. So,
I guess I'll
And
go first.
I'll
Oh,
go
oh,
for it. Yeah.
go ahead, Josh.
I mean, I don't want to be sarcastic here, but we really are looking always at all parts of the game. But I would say that each major update, we really look around the features that support new changes. So with the camel coming in, we really look at mounts in general and the desert and some of the areas you might use such a new animal type. But overall, we're always looking and listening to player feedback and trying to improve all aspects of the game. So it's interesting. We've always got a bunch of different experiments and different explorations going on, and then each major update will kind of see different areas come into focus as we start making improvements and additions. And yeah, we're always kind of looking across the entire game, trying to keep it as interesting and entertaining, both for new players and for players who are coming back just for those big updates.
And one of the great things about Minecraft is it's a game that just is always new and there's always something new coming on. You'll see people play it a whole bunch and they take a break and they come back and it's like coming home. Like, ooh, it's familiar, but there's something new. What's the suspicious sand over here? So I love that aspect of the game. As far as realms and thinking, where do we want to go? So one of the fun things about Minecraft is the community. Minecraft has an amazing community and there's some incredibly creative people. And lots of people play multiplayer Minecraft together, and they've built their own mods and tools and server software and stuff. So it's fun to look at, hey, what do the Minecraft community people envision playing multiplayer Minecraft, and how can we adapt that to Realms? How can we make things even more valuable for our players and take them into new Minecraft adventures? Yeah, 1.30, I would love to see. I have lots of ideas.
Yeah, I thought it was like, yeah, I want to go that far. Let's keep going. All right, so one last kind of like harder question, like a harder hitting one. We're going to have a fun one right before we sign off in 10 minutes. But this one is a Java specific question, and it was posted on our Instagram. And this player would like to know, why is Redstone different for Java and Bedrock? Wouldn't it be simpler to make Redstone function the same throughout platforms?
I would say this is as much a Java question as a Bedrock question.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, it's just functions differently because it was implemented differently before. Now we are striving to get our gameplay in parity, and all our new features that we are pushing out through updates are meant to be fully compatible with each other. However, there are certain differences from the past, and we will eventually get through them, but they are not part of our yearly cadence that we are working on, like individual updates. That might be like a separate challenge.
Yeah, that they can be very complicated to make an older engine kind of act the same. Now, Jorex, I know that you talk about parity every single week, twice a week in that meeting with me. That's a big thing that we focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. We want the experience to be as similar as possible between Bedrock and Java. Redstone is a system that is far more complicated than, again, me as a non-coding, non-developer. I've asked the same question internally, and it just turns out there are some differences in how Java works as an engine compared to Bedrock that make getting exact parity on Redstone very difficult. And as was mentioned, we're trying to get there. It's tricky, and we hope that at some point we will be able to converge those. But again, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, no, it's very complicated. Balance. I know we keep saying that word over and over, but it really is such a big part of game development, making sure you're balancing, what you can do, what you want to do, what the players want us to do, that kind of thing. Make sure it's all fun and functional at the end of the day. It really is a juggling act sometimes.
Well, and to one of the earlier questions on when does a bug, because it's been around so long, become a feature, sometimes the differences that aren't in parity have become kind of built in and how players on either Java or Bedrock expect things to behave. So then it's even kind of a more difficult choice for us do we go to parity, but then change one of those experiences, or do we keep things not at parity and try to figure out a different solution that might help us get closer to things matching up between the platforms.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna ask one more question. This one's from our Twitter. I giggled at this one, but then I thought about it and did a little research, and I'm curious if anybody has any insight in regard to the cherry groves. So this person asks, if cherry tree, why no cherries?
Well, man, I had this exact question myself, and I went down a rabbit hole of Wikipedia and some other sources a little while back. But before I answer, I'm curious if anyone that actually created this feature had any thoughts.
I also went down that rabbit hole, so.
All right. Well, it doesn't sound like it, but We definitely don't go for perfect realism in Minecraft, but we do try to usually represent it or be somewhat accurate. And it turns out that cherry trees that produce cherries that we as humans eat are different from cherry blossoms, which produce the flowers, and much smaller, much more bitter cherries that are usually only eaten by birds and some other animals. So in this case, we've actually created the cherry blossom in the game, not a cherry tree that you would use for fruit and for food.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people there. I'll stop.
Yeah, plus we have to remember that the only fruit that we have is apple, and it falls off the oak tree. So it will be very un-Minecrafty if we had the proper fruit coming up from a proper tree.
That's a great point. I hadn't even thought of that.
It's true. Yeah, and I will say, like, the cherry blossom trees specifically, they're called sakura. And I looked it up, and you can actually eat them, but not many, because if you eat like more than a couple, they're actually kind of toxic to people. So I was like, let's not put that in the game. Was my thought when I read that. So we've got about 5 minutes left. I wanted to send us off with a really fun question. This is one that was asked on I think this one was on Twitter. But this person wanted, and I'd like everyone to answer this one. You know, this isn't a right or wrong, it's just a preference. This person was curious, which wood type do you prefer, bamboo or cherry?
I think I like bamboo as far as collecting it because it grows so quickly. It's easy to obtain. And you can do some fun stuff with it. But the cherry wood, it just looks fantastic. I love the cherry wood.
Yeah, I think for me the cherry wood is probably my favorite. I do really like the bamboo wood for some of the different aesthetic things like the trapdoor and things like that. Like it looks phenomenal. But yeah, for me, I'm oddly enough pretty fond of like the more colorful like wood types, like the warped or like nether planks and things like that. So having nice, pretty pink planks is very, very nice.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I love the accent color of the cherry wood, and bamboo has some cool uses. I love the new raft, but yeah, if I'm going to use it for a house, I like that cherry wood.
Yeah, I really like the way you craft the bamboo. With the fact that you have to gather it, then you have to pack it together, then you have to strip it. I think that's really cool. But yeah, I'm gonna go with cherry wood as well. I like the color, feels really special. And yeah, cherry wood. Sorry, bamboo.
Nembom, you gonna break the streak here?
No, I'm all for the bamboo, and the reason is bamboo is the only wood that has a variant, which is the bamboo mosaic. Make efforts to make sure that's
Well, I think you're cutting out there a little bit, at least for me.
wood matches. So that's why I like bamboo more.
Yeah, I will actually say bamboo as well, and I say that specifically because I prefer the variety it gives me as a building material. Now, if I'm looking at bamboo and I'm looking at cherry trees, I'll take cherry trees all day. Like, I don't want to cut them down. I just want more of them. I love the groves and just the ambiance of the petals falling and all of that. So, for me personally, in terms of like which wood type do I prefer, I would say bamboo. But if I'm talking about the actual plant, definitely the cherry trees.
Well, funny you mentioned that too. I've heard several people say that they feel bad chopping down the cherry trees because of how beautiful the biome is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No, I'm
100%.
definitely one of those. All right, so we have 2 minutes left. I just wanted to take a minute real quick and again, go back around and thank all of the devs. Again, some of them came in early, some of them stayed late. Our time zones are a little far apart between Washington and Stockholm. So, you know, we managed to balance it here. So I just want to thank everyone for all of their answers and all of the fun stories about camels and llamas. And if any of you would like to share any of your handles, like, whether it's on Twitter, something like that, some folks like to interact with the community. And if you're one of those, give you a minute to go around and say goodbyes and or share any contact info.
Yeah, thanks for running things, Mish. This was a lot of fun. My handle is CornerHardMC on Twitter, and then every place else it's CornerHard, the Reddit, Discord, Twitch, all those fun places.
I don't really have any handle nor social, but yeah, it was really nice to be here. So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for hosting this. This is really nice. I mean, if people want to find me, they'll find me. They'll figure it out.
A little Liam Neeson there.
100%. Yeah.
Same with me. Thank you, guys.
But yeah, thanks everyone for submitting your questions and for coming and listening to us answer them. You can find me at Jorax79 on Twitter and occasionally in Discord as well.
All right, so that is everyone. Again, thanks devs for tuning in. Thank you everyone in the audience for tuning in. Really appreciate you all being here to listen to us talk about awesome update that we released just a couple weeks ago, Trails and Tales. If you all haven't, definitely go update your game, hop in, especially those cherry trees. I mean, we have this many people going on and on about how beautiful they are. We're onto something. So thank you all for tuning in, and happy gaming.